In this video, we are going to be talking about the distributive property and how we can use it to simplify expressions. So first, what does distribute mean? Distribute means to give away. I also want you guys to either write down a multiplication term or write out the word multiplication, just so you know that we give away using multiplication. Factor is our second key term that we need to remember. And factor, remember, we use when we are finding GCF. But factor means to take out. I'm almost going to say take away. Take out makes more sense. So to take out, and we use this with division. So let's go through some examples to distribute and also to factor. So for example, 1 says, use distributive property to simplify. So whatever is on the outside of the parentheses, this is what we are going to distribute. And if you guys remember, we can write multiplication with a multiplication sign. So we could say 3 times 1. We can also use a little dot, 3 times 1, or we can take everything away, both of those signs, and use parentheses. Whenever a number is right next to a parentheses like this, it means to multiply. So right now, this is saying 3 times everything inside the parentheses. So we're going to distribute or give away the 3 to the x, and we're going to distribute or give away the 3 to the 1. And we're going to use this by multiplying. So we have 3 times x, and we have 3 times 1. I'm going to go ahead and keep that sign that was between them, which was a minus sign. And now, anytime you're multiplying a whole number by a variable, you can just put those together as 3x. So just like when we took out the signs and wrote with our parentheses, anytime a number is right next to a variable, a letter, that means to multiply. And we're going to keep our minus sign, and our 3 times 1 is what? 3. So to distribute the 3x minus 1, we're going to be left with 3x minus 3. And we're going to leave that there for right now. We're not going to touch it. That is our final answer. Second one, this time we're distributing a 2. So we want to do 2 times 4 and 2 times 5. It's super important that you draw those little arrows or bunny ears, if you will, to everything on the inside of the parentheses, because we want to give it away to everything. So this is saying 2 times 4 plus 2 times 5. 2 times 4 is 8. Keep that addition sign. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to have us leave it just like this. If you want to combine it, you can, but just for the sake of our new topic expressions, we're going to learn to leave stuff unfinished. All right, next one, we're distributing the 7. So 7 to the b and 7 to 5. So we have 7 times b minus 7 times 5. 7 times b is 7b. This is like saying that we have 7 b's. So an easier way to write 7 b's, that's only 6, is 7 in front of the b. Minus 7 times 5 is 35. So my final answer is 7b minus 35. And our last one, 5 times 2x and 5 times 4. We're distributing that 5 to everything. So 5 times 2x plus 5 times 4. Now, the reason you guys will see me using dots or putting the numbers right next to each other from this unit forward is because, as you can see, we are going to be using letters in this topic. And so a lot of times we use X. So it's kind of confusing to put an X as a multiplication sign. So you guys are going to see me use our dots a lot more. So 5 times 2 is 10, and I need to include that X. Plus 5 times 4 is 20. So my final answer is 10x plus 20. So that is distributing. Let's try factoring. So if you remember, factoring is to take out, we're using division. So what we want to do is we want to first find the GCF, the greatest common factor of 8 and of 32. So if you guys remember, to list out factors, we make our little factor tree, include our little rainbow. So factors of 8, we have 1 and 8, and we have 2 and 4. For 32, I have 1 and 32. I also have 2 and 16. And what other number is 32 divisible by? So 32 is also divisible by 4, and it is 4 and 8. So what is our greatest common factor here? It looks like our greatest common factor is 8. So that means I can factor out an 8 from this expression. So if I have 8 minus 32x, if I'm going to factor out 8, I'm going to put 8 on the outside of my parentheses. Now, to factor out 8, we use division. 8 divided by 8 is 1. I'm going to keep that minus sign. I'm going to draw my divided by 8 just so you remember what we did here. And 32 divided by 8. What is 32 divided by 8? That is 4, and I always want to make sure I keep that x. So my final factored expression is 8 times 1 minus 4x. And you can always, if you want to, check your work by doing the distributive property, because when you do, you should get your same answer. All right, next one is 12 and 4b. So what is the greatest common factor of 12 and 4b? So the greatest common factor of 12 and 4 is going to be 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Keep that plus sign. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So you can put 1b here. The other thing that you can put is, and I'm going to write both out just so that you can see, you can also write this just as one single b by itself. That's the same thing. Both of these are saying 1b. Next one, 15 and 3. What is my GCF of 15 and 3? So my GCF of 15 and 3 is going to be 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and I want to keep my x. It looks like I have a minus sign. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm just going to keep that y by itself. And last one here is 24 and 4. My greatest common factor of 24 and 4 is 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. Keep that plus sign. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I just have b by itself.